As one of the flagship robotics research conferences worldwide, the IEEE RSJ International Conference on Intelligent Robots and Systems brings together an international community of researchers, educators, and world-leading roboticists to explore the frontier of science and technology in intelligent robots and systems. In this 35th anniversary event of its history, IROS 2022 will explore a wide range of topics from assistive and social robots to future autonomous systems to the philosophy of robotics research and so much more. And you can catch it all here on IROS TV. Welcome back to the Kyoto International Conference Center and to our last show here at IROS 2022. So far, we've explored a wide range of topics focusing on the conference theme and representing the latest in intelligent robotics and systems research. There's plenty more to come, so stay tuned. On our final show today, we sit down with the Executive Director of the AI Institute and founder of Boston Dynamics, Mark Grabert, to discuss the culture of robotics research. We'll bring highlights from the finalists of the Dialogue Robot Competition. Take a final tour of organizations around the world, from the Technology Innovation Institute to Guardian Robot Project at RIKEN and EMPA Robotics. President of EJUST, Professor Amr Adli, talks us through Egypt and Japan's education partnership. And finally, we hear from attendees about their highlights of the conference. Joining me now is Dr. Mark Grabert, Executive Director of the AI Institute and founder of Boston Dynamics, to tell us about the philosophy of research and development. Thank you for joining us today.
It's good to be here.
So how should engineers approach robotics research today?
You know, I think there's lots of ways to do research in robotics. One of the things I'm interested in is combining the hardware development with the software development. I think when those two things are really tightly coupled, you get the best results. These days, there's a lot of people who think that computers are going to solve everything. And the computers are really important, the software is really important, but if it's done without the hardware, it leaves something to be desired.
Why is early testing and iteration an important part of the robotics engineering process?
Well, in robotics, there's a lot that we don't understand yet about how the physical interactions between the world, there's a lot of variety in the world. So you can have a theory about how things are going to work, but if you don't do an experiment and collect data from the experiment, you really don't know what's going to work and what doesn't. So we found that by doing lots of experimentation, looking at the data, and then redesigning the experiment or the robot or the software, and then going at it again is really a much more effective way to make progress.
And what do you feel are best practices for incorporating advances in robotics?
You know, I don't know exactly what best practices is in robotics. Robotics is such a new field and there's lots of different people taking different approaches. I think I'd rather see people try something new than try and tell them this is how you should do it. Obviously, there's some areas where you need a little discipline and organization, and maybe there's some best practices there, but by and large, I think people should be creative and cook up new ways of doing things.
Yeah, great message for the next generation of engineers.
Exactly.
Yeah. And are there any enabling technologies in dynamic robot space that are particularly interesting right now?
Well, one of the things I'm interested in is dynamic mobile manipulation. We've already used dynamics to really improve the mobility of robots, especially legged robots. But so far in manipulation, there's still a lot of static work done where grasping is the main thing. And I think that manipulation is a little bit more like juggling than grasping. And I'm hoping in the future research that we're going to kind of develop that concept and uncover a lot more functionality and usefulness out of robots.
Finally, where do you see the future of robotics research moving in the next 5 to 10 years?
I think one of the really important things is to start adding more AI and cognitive function to robots. Robots are still pretty dumb, and they're nothing like people, and we need to make them a little bit more like people. And I think once we do that, then their physical skills, which are already starting to get developed, will be much more accessible and useful in robots. So I think the future involves combining athletic intelligence with cognitive intelligence, and that's going to really open up new doors.
Thank you for joining us today.
Oh, it's good to be here. Thank you for having me.
The Autonomous Robotics Research Center at Technology Innovation Institute performs applied research in several areas of robotics, including swarm robotics. Let's take a look.
The Technology Innovation Institute, or TII, is a global research institute based out of Abu Dhabi. TII today has 10 research centers that are focused on leading-edge technologies. ARRC, or the Autonomous Robotics Research Center, is focused on research in autonomous and robotic systems. We focus on the development of the brain of the robot or this autonomous system. We have teams that are specialized in perception, computer vision, SLAM, control, manipulation, communication, and we also work on the development of hardware platforms in specific domains. We work in the air domain, in the land domain, in the marine domain, both on water and underwater, and we work with single platforms or single robots as well as multi-robot or swarm systems. Our team is composed of around 80 researchers that are specialized in the areas that I mentioned before, and we are looking to increase the size of our team. So whoever is interested, you can approach our booth today, you can approach our team who is present in the conference today, and then have further discussions with them.
Remember, you can watch IROS TV here at the Kyoto International Conference Center. Find us on the IROS 2022 website and on social media. One of the key highlights at every IROS conference are the competitions. At IROS 2022, we've been closely following the run-up to the Dialogue Robot Competition Finals to see which team has created the most human-like conversational robot. Let's find out.
The competition is called Dialogue Robot Competition 2022, and the theme of the competition is the development of a dialogue robot that can act as a salesperson in a realistic environment. So the teams have to utilize linguistic information as well as nonverbal information such as gestures and facial expressions and so on. So they have to use many information that humans usually use in order to make it sound more convincing or more likable or more satisfying. There are two things that we are offering the competing teams. One is the robot itself, and also the software needed to develop its movement and so on. Another thing is that we are offering them the opportunity to use to place their robot in a realistic environment. So in the final round, the best teams, the top 3 teams in that preliminary round, evaluated by the general public during the final round here at IROS. So we are giving them the kind of place to evaluate by the real people. That's, I think, the 2 benefits they're having by participating in this competition.
この短いコンペ5分間という中で、実用的に使えるという意味からして、ユーザーの顔の静止画像から性格を判定をして対話フローを、そのユーザーの特性によって変化させるという機能を実装しました。人間が普通会話をするときに相手の人間がどういう性格であるかというのはある程度把握する必要があると思います。そういった意味からしてもロボット側でユーザーの性格を判定をしてそれに適応したような対話システムを構築をすることが重要だと考え、そういったシステムを構築をいたしました。
うちのチームのロボットはですね、ハイパークローバーという巨大言語モデルを使っています。でハイパークローバーを使用することで柔軟な応答ができるようになっています。つまりユーザーがどんなことを言っても、ハイパークローバーによって処理してその応答に対して適切なレスポンスを返すことができるという仕組みを使っております。 今回私たち結構いろんな挑戦をしていろんな課題にチャレンジはしてきたものの、やっぱり音声対話の難しさっていうのにまだちゃんと、まだいろいろ課題があって解決できてない課題があったりします。例えば、話し終わった後にレスポンスが1秒とか2秒とか待たせて応答が返ってきてしまうとか、そうなるとやっぱりユーザーって少しずつ不快とかストレスっていうのが溜まっていって、そこら辺が評価が悪くなる原因にもなっているのかなと思っています。そこら辺が今後の改善ポイントです。
このようなロボット、ホスピタリティを実現したようなロボットはあらゆるサービス業に適用できると私は考えています。広く知っていただけたらなと思っております。
While most conventional robots perform limited tasks based on human commands, RIKEN's Guardian Robot project aims to develop an autonomous robot that can coexist with humans and understand their emotions.
RIKEN's Guardian Robot project aimed to develop autonomous robot that can coexist with humans and understand their emotions.
By using Nicola, we are studying how to design a human-like robot behavior.
Our team works on conversational interaction with users through language and robot memory using symbolic representation like language.
We are working to develop a robot that interact with humans through verbal and non-verbal communication using their presence.
And it can memorize the names and 3D locations of recognized objects and people so that it can interact with people using memory.
Instead of constantly assisting human movement, the two different robots take different roles in this way and provide support at the appropriate timing.
I hope this research serves as a basis for creating more androids that can further aid humanity.
Joining me now is Professor Amr Atli, President of the Egypt-Japan University of Science and Technology, also known as EJUST. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you. It's a great pleasure for me, definitely.
So, how is EJUST research-based, and how does it implement a Japanese approach to its teaching?
Well, actually, Japanese approach encourages students to active learning, encourages the actually research-based education. And this is what we are adopting. And this is exactly what can actually advance science. We know that students sometimes excel beyond their teachers. Otherwise, science would have never developed. And sometimes undergrads would surprise you with out-of-the-box ideas. So definitely, we like this Japanese approach. Because not only what I mentioned, but Japanese concepts also stress values. Stress ethics in science, ethics in society, and stress culture. And we believe that this is very important in shaping the personality of future engineers.
How is Egypt and Japan working together to enhance higher education in the Middle East and beyond?
Since the very beginning, after actually partnering with Japan and developing our curricula in accordance with Japanese standards, the Ministry of Higher Education started to adopt some of our principles while initiating new universities. So we were like the role model. Not only that, EJUST is the place where the Japanese government decided to have the TCAD 7 scholarship to make available 150 scholarships for African students. Many of them would return to their countries and have something about Japanese education. Well, we have also some grants from the Ministry of the Egyptian Ministry of Higher Education for TAs preparing for their PhDs to return back to be professors at their Egyptian university. So far, 190 Egyptian professors at different.
Wow, it's amazing that the impact is going beyond just EJUST and around the world.
Exactly.
And what is EJUST doing to support early career individuals looking to transition into the field of robotics?
We know that robotics is interdisciplinary. We have all the ingredient specializations for robotics. We have the communication electronics, we have the, of course, mechatronics, we have the electrical power, we have the everything. Our students are very active. And the students club, robotics club, has maybe 70 or 80 students from different disciplines. They participate in competitions, they design robots, and they compete, whether nationally or internationally, and we make fund available for them because we believe that this is extremely important.
Wow, it seems like you're doing a lot of initiatives. And finally, how do you see the role of robots in the education of the future?
In my opinion, in the near future, robots can assist professors in moving gadgets, in moving educational. But in my opinion, I don't think robots will substitute human teachers in the near future because, yes, we had advances in AI when it comes to many aspects, but in my opinion, not advances enough in emotional artificial intelligence or social artificial intelligence. I believe that this might develop in the coming decade. And by the way, I am following up on this because I'm affiliated to IEEE myself. I'm the editor-in-chief of the IEEE Transactions on Magnetics. So I know what type of advances and efforts are being taken, but I believe not in the coming decade.
I see. Thank you for your insight, and thank you for joining us.
Thank you very much. It's a great pleasure for me to be here at this wonderful conference at the wonderful place.
Thank you. The mission of EMPA Robotics is to develop, demonstrate, and commercialize novel robotic platforms for environmental sensing and autonomous manufacturing for the sustainable society of the future. Let's find out more.
We're in the midst of an ecological crisis where over 1 million species are at risk of extinction and ecosystems are collapsing. And as scientists, we're constantly looking for new methods to improve the efficiency of our data collection, which is exactly what aerial robotics can do.
We can start rescuing people in dangerous situations, and we can as well deliver products with drones and other applications.
To developing a new future robots, aerial robots, we need to develop a new material which can make the body of the robots. EMPA is one of the leading institutes in this area.
EMPA Sustainability Robotics leads in the combination of material science expertise with robotic expertise. And by combining the two, we can create those lifelike robots that will become our friends, that will help us to reach the United Nations sustainability goals.
Now we're talking to you, the attendees, to find out what you enjoyed most at this year's conference.
I finally have the opportunity to see some colleagues in the robotics society. I'm now working in the Neo lab. I'm probably developing tactile sensors. And I think our community is growing. We have so many topics now. We not only having the force sensing topic, we have the safety topic, and we have the skin workshop, like the whole day workshop. So I feel like I'm not alone. Like we have a huge society now. Yeah.
So far the conference is good and interesting. There are many things to see, many exhibitions, great people to meet, like the great researchers. I would recommend for especially students, this is a very good place to get updated about the current research, current technologies, especially in robotics area.
This is my first time to after Corona's international conference, and I feel very interested in the conference program and exhibition and competition.
I had a presentation today, and it is my first time, so I get very nervous, but it is very nice experiment for me. And I can share the other researcher what they do, so it is very exciting.
It's been like a super experience, knowing new people, talking to
other PhD students and also to companies, because right now I'm searching for an internship, and this is an amazing opportunity for me to know also companies and find an opportunity for me, for the future.
The keynotes have been amazing so far. The best student presentations, they were very, very impressive. So it's really exciting to see all of these new works coming from young researchers. And it's very inspiring for also young researchers like myself. I feel like robotics in general is so interdisciplinary that it's hard to find someone who isn't doing something that is still relatable to your research. So far it's been really, really nice networking with people, but it's been nice to see talks that are outside of my research scope a little bit more. But I look forward to networking throughout the rest of the conference.
Well, that's it for our final day here at IROS 2022. We hope you've enjoyed being back in person, reconnecting with friends and colleagues. And remember, if you missed anything from us here, all of the content will be available online. So make sure you subscribe to find plenty more shows and clips covering all of this year's key topics. We look forward to seeing you in Detroit 2023. Goodbye for now.